Welcome to our discussion on formative assessments. My name is Doug Arana, Manager of Leadership Development for Lindamood-Bell for Schools. In today's video, we will discuss formative assessments and how they don't simply mean quizzes and progress monitoring tools, but also involve daily, real-time responding to response opportunities in instructional sessions. Unlike summative assessments, which evaluate students' learning at the end of an instructional cycle, most often by comparing against some standard or benchmark, formative assessment informs our instruction, and it can also help us adjust it to meet our students' needs immediately. Our real-time diagnosis and practice is supported by research. So let's take a look at what research shows is effective formative assessment. Number one, it clarifies and shares learning intentions and criteria for success. It engineers effective classroom discussions, questions, and learning tasks. It provides feedback that moves learners forward. We'll talk about how our real-time monitoring using responding to the response questioning helps our students move forward in their goal towards independence. It activates students as the owners of their learning styles. We want our students to be proactive participants in the learning process, not reactive. And it also activates students as instructional resources for one another, especially important in a group setting. We are concerned with providing our teachers with a high level of professional development so they can automatically do formative assessment and adjust their instructional practices accordingly. Let's take a look at how our methodology and practices embody formative assessment and see if it checks off the parameters listed here. During our instructional sessions, teachers are consistently and constantly doing real-time monitoring with students. They respond to the response. It allows teachers to monitor students' levels of independence on given tasks and adjust instruction in real time. For example, let's say that we've noticed with our students, they've been really struggling with initial blends. We give them the word spot. Let's say in a decoding approach like our Seeing Stars program, the student looks at a card with the word spot, they write the letters for it, and they read the word as sought. This is telling me, hey, there are some issues here with that initial blend. Let me go ahead and also give my student a chance to reflect and hopefully self-correct and get to the right answer. So I'm going to respond to the response by basically putting their error response in my question. I'm going to remove the word spot from his visual screen so that way he can focus just on his response. After I give him some positive feedback, for example, I'll say, hey, I really liked your thinking on that O saying ah. I'm going to then ask a question about the error. When you said sought, what letter do you picture after the S? My student can now only focus on the response that I have given him, sought. In sought, I'm going to picture an O after the S. The minute that the student says O, he or she is now analyzing their error response. I can then provide them the stimulus one more time, say, hey, what letter do you see there after the S? The student has a chance to reflect and go, oh, no, there's a P there, and I'm picturing an O. My student has that aha moment, there's the error, and now he or she gets a chance to reflect and self-correct. The student's either going to get it right and say spot, or probably make another error. It depends on the situation. And whatever that response is going to tell me about where the student is at this level of work. And it could help me adjust instruction in real time. The great thing about this kind of questioning, the Socratic type questioning, is not only is it helping me assess where the student is at, because of the way that we've structured those questions and the fact that we're not just giving them the answers, that we're trying to get them to really think about the mistake and have a chance to fix it, we're working towards that goal of independence, because all of us as independent readers and learners, we self-correct all the time. when we miscode a word as we're reading, we stop ourselves and we say, whoa, that did not make sense. That's the level of independence that we want to get our students to. The great thing about this kind of instruction is that we can also use it to help us differentiate within our groups. I noticed maybe that this student is really struggling at 4 sounds. The majority of our students in our group are maybe at 4 sounds. I can differentiate my instruction with this particular student. Maybe when I give the group the 4 sound words with him, I can ask him, hey, let's erase the S at the beginning of that word. What would the new word say? Pot. To make sure that he is being met where he needs to be met. It works the other way around too. I might have a student in a group that is currently working at the 4 sound level that can maybe handle a little bit more. And I'm noticing this by the automatic responses that he's providing and how quickly he's accessing his symbol or her symbol imagery to read these words. I might say to that student, hey, let's picture an S at the end of this word. Spots. This frequent real-time diagnosing that I'm doing as an instructor is always allowing me to meet the students where they need to be met. I want to make sure that as I'm questioning and I'm assessing what's happening with the students, I'm using it to change my instruction to meet them where they are. If I need to drop down a level, if I need to add a level, all of this questioning allows me to do so. It's not a scripted approach where we're just going to do the same thing with every single student. It's also very important that we're providing sensory language, sensory input for the students, that we're asking them basically to focus on the sensory process that's needed to get to that right response. That's why the language I'm going to use with my students in something like Seeing Stars is, what letter did you picture? We were doing a program like the LIPS program. The focus there is feeling and hearing. If I see there's a mistake in our comprehension approach, visualizing and verbalizing, I'll ask to see if they can tell me what they picture for the words that they've read or that they've listened to. So it's important that we're always giving the students specific sensory feedback using the Socratic type of questioning. So the Socratic error handling questioning is a type of formative assessment because it allows our students to be part of the learning process. We want them to be active participants in the process and not just reactive. It's helping them think about their mistakes. Hopefully what it does for them is it helps them stop making those same errors over and over again, and it helps them propel forward towards that goal of independence.